and a warm greeting on behalf of Mount Carmel College and CIMSME to World Entrepreneurs Day celebration. A hearty welcome to our chief guest, Ms. Nabobita Majumdar, National Chairman, CIMSME, and the resource persons and all participants of today's event. On this happy day, I would like to share with you the information that our college has signed a MOU with CIMSME to carry forward various entrepreneurial related activities to next higher level in our campus. I thank our principal, Dr. Sister Arpana, our vice principal, Dr. Shaman Jerome, and our PG Science Dean, Dr. Uma V, and Mr. Santosh, Director, CIMSME, and Mr. Biju, National Convener, CIMSME, for accepting to have a MOU and quickly arranging all the process for signing of MOU to set up Center of Excellence for Innovation and Entrepreneurship in our college. This will systematically foster the culture of innovation amongst our student population, encourage the creative energy of our students to work on new ideas and innovation, and promote them to create startups and entrepreneurial ventures. Every year on August 21st, the World Entrepreneurs Day is celebrated across the globe. The purpose of the World Entrepreneurs Day is to create awareness for entrepreneurship, innovation, and leadership throughout the world. World Entrepreneurs Day is the perfect day to celebrate the people who starts a business alone. It is the day of founders, managers, producers, contractors, industrialists, innovators, administrators, designers, and producers. World Entrepreneurs Day is a great opportunity to push philanthropic, social, and ethical business practices via conferences, webinars, awards, and initiatives. So, to celebrate this, today we have with us our chief guest, Ms. Nabobita Majumdar, and 5 accomplished women entrepreneurs as speakers sharing their experience and learning on this day of celebration. It
Good
gives
evening.
me an
Thank you. Yes, Dr. Shanti, go ahead.
yeah. It gives me an immense pleasure to welcome and introduce our chief guest, Ms. Namabita Majumdar, National Chairman CIMSME, who is the President's Awardee, and she has won Top 100 Women of India by Ministry of Women and Child Development, and she is also founder of namobita.com. She has received several honors and awards to her credit. To mention a few, she has won the award among the 100 women, and the award has been given by the Ministry of Women and Child Development. One among the top 20 HR influencer by SHRM India. Best Young Speaker of Cambridge English in Asia Competition 2011, as declared by University of Cambridge. And 25 most influential women on Twitter, top 100 tech influencer, jury to HR Awards 2015, and she has also received HTM Awards in the year 2017 by Indian HR Convention for contributions made. And she has received Women Achievers Award in 2018 from Indian Conventions. And she has addressed and felicitated at India Leadership Conclave 2017 by Indian Affairs TV. Her enterprise, Nabobita.com, deals with building engagement with customers and stakeholders through offline and online communication, addressing and evangelizing future of work, social media, community management, HR, startup, technology, and personal excellence. Ma'am, it's a great pleasure to have you as our chief guest today. I request you to share your experience and thoughts with us on this day, ma'am.
What an honor. Thank you so much. First and foremost, congratulations, team, for bringing such a meaningful uh, discussion today around why we need to continue building products. Yes, I'm glad this is gendered, because much as we may not like it being called a woman entrepreneur, and we want to be called entrepreneurs, but as yet the numbers are not meeting the equality. So till we outnumber every gender, right? So only then I think we should consider it non-gendered. Coming back to the point of building products, well, I have worked with numerous CEOs from every gender. However, when I work with a women entrepreneur, the entire sensitivity goes into a new level. The height at which the vision is implemented is entirely different. I mean, give you an example. A lady who was heading an e-com company for delivering customized product for mother and child. She used to hire mothers, right, first time or second time mothers, as her product managers. And did that have an impact on her product? Don't even ask, you know it. Another lady who runs fairly a big company, who has been getting into several challenges because of running such a long term success story, is managing the funds, is managing the people in such a different manner. I'm not saying they're the best people, but then the entire approach, the sensitivity, the empathy they brings in makes it a very fresh and uh, a very different kind of a case, even to look at it. So, my hearty congratulations to all the women entrepreneurs from whom we are going to learn throughout our session today. I can't wait to see all these success stories rolling into even bigger in the days to come. Thank you, CISMSME, the CISME, for giving us this opportunity to celebrate something so crucial and acknowledging the fact that yes, not just we have already built something, which is always important, we need to acknowledge what we have done, but we also inspire and bring many people along with our journey to everyone who's watching this or will watch this in future. This platform is not just to learn, not just to understand how others are doing it, how others are building it for them. It is also for you to connect, collaborate, and build it together. Yes, CIMSME is a platform to bring everyone together and build a common success story. We individually have been success. We individually have been great, great leaders from our fields. Right now, we put our best foot forward and bring 100 more of us together as we go along our journeys. So, wishing everyone, all my awesome leaders, all my great panel speakers who have agreed to contribute their time and words for this celebration today. Thank you, team, who have been working tirelessly to organize this, and everyone who's watching it. We are waiting to hear your stories. Yes, today you hear us. Come up and share your story with us so that we know how you build it and how we can help it to build together. Thank you, Dr. Shanti. Over to you now.
Thank you, ma'am. It's pleasure having you here with us, ma'am. And it is very encouraging that asking all of us to become entrepreneurs and share our stories with you. Definitely, our students will become entrepreneur in the future. At least few of them who are having a business idea as of now. I want them to become entrepreneur with all your guidance. And definitely, we'll share the stories with you. Thank you, ma'am. Now we have the first speaker, entrepreneur, Ms. Sangeeta Yadav, Director, Port Phillip Ventures Private Limited, and she is State Director, CIT, Maharashtra. Ms. Sangeeta, fondly known as Women in Logistics, is a mother of two boys and an experienced professional having more than a decade of expertise in various skills. She is Six Sigma Green Belt trained with excellent interpersonal skills, business and problem solving skills. After 7 years of corporate experience, she started her own startup, Port Phillip, along with her husband, Amarjeet Singh. Her company is an intra-city logistics aggregator, like the Ola Uber of mini trucks. It was incorporated in June 2017 and they are operating in Mumbai and Pune in bootstrapped mode. Port Phillip was the winner of BITS Pilani Entrepreneurship Business Conclave in March 2019 and was also amongst the top 10 startups of Mumbai in the Economic Times Leaders of Tomorrow Season 8 pitching competition in 2019. Port Phillip has been covered in various media like Your Story, Daily Hunt, Brilliant Read, Great Companies, Feminista, Startup Monk, to name a few. Today, Ms. Sangeeta will be sharing her thoughts on building awareness on entrepreneurship. Over to you, ma'am.
Dr. Shanti, I know Sangeeta ji, right? And before she starts her story, I want to say exactly why what I said before. The women leaders think differently. I have been to a brainstorming session organized by Startup Saturday, right? Remember Sangeeta ji?
Head Start.
Yes. Yeah, Head Start. Sorry, Head Start in Navi Mumbai, right? And that was a session where she was presenting it as a founder. Now, if you know, all these sessions are generally a dressing down session, right? The moment you go, you stand up and start talking about product, everybody will stand and tell you how many ways your product is bad, it's not going to work, it's going to fail. Everybody will literally take their entire frustration out on you just because you decided to stand and present your product, present your baby. This is where a woman leader is different. In any kind of a session, mark my words, if you have been there, you know it, you already know it. And if you have not been there, you will see it soon. When a gentleman is presenting, he gets defensive, right? He starts promoting his own product. He starts defending every point. He fights. I mean, there's literally a debate that goes on. That's not what happened at the Port Phillip presentation. She was so empathetic to everybody who was engaging, that you know what the session ended up being. The entire room, and interestingly, the entire room was only men. She was the only woman founder who was standing and presenting. In a room full of men founder, we suddenly had the entire room contributing how Port Phillip should become a great company, should take on the far greater competitors, become the fastest growing product in Navi Mumbai and whatnot. This is where a woman leader thinks differently. This is where a woman leader makes everyone react differently, right? So Sangeeta ji, over to you with your story now. I'll take a leave because I have to attend another event by CIMSME. So I wish you all a great journey ahead. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Navamita ji. In fact, that was the first time we actually met. And when I was bombarded with all the questions, I remember you came to my rescue that this is women who has come out and she's trying to do something different. So actually support her out. So thank you so much for doing that. You know, we women need to stand for each other. Otherwise, you know, the world is very dangerous.
So sweet. Continue with your journey.
Thank you.
Thank you,
ma'am. Thanks a lot.
You are strong on your own.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a great
Thank
day.
you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Shanti ji, can you please put up my slide?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you've already introduced me. So we can, you know, move on to the next slide.
Okay.
Okay, great. So everyone, let us start this session by, you know, congratulating each other. We are celebrating World Entrepreneur Day today on 21st of August 2020. And the topic that I have been given today to speak on is building awareness for entrepreneurship. Next, please. So how many of us know, you know, what an entrepreneur is? So when I was preparing my points for the presentation, I was, you know, I wanted to know what actually an entrepreneur is. So where the origin of this word came from? So during my research, I found that it is actually a word which comes from the French word entreprendre. And entreprendre means an individual who undertakes risks or who is an adventurer. So that is what an entrepreneur is: someone who is ready to take risks, who is an adventurer and would like to do something different. While going through Quora, I also went through some interesting meaning of entrepreneur in Sanskrit. So the Sanskrit meaning is Anant Prerana. Anant means inner and Prerana means inspiration. So that is actually what entrepreneur is, getting inspired from internally and doing different things in the world. So that's what an entrepreneur is. Next slide, please. Okay, so now entrepreneurship should begin right from the growth stage. And how we can do it, we as parents have lots of responsibilities, not only to bring up our child, but then also to develop and inculcate things in them, qualities in them, which will help them to grow up to be better individuals. So how we can inculcate this in entrepreneurship in kids? I've jotted down a few points. By encouraging divergent thinking. How do we do that? We have lots of informal discussions at our homes, so we can ask a lot of open-ended questions to kids. We can work together on problem solving. We can share ideas together, build on learning experiences. We should ask our children to question, do research, or seek further information. They should notice what is happening in their daily lives. For example, if they are frustrated, or they see a problem, or they are stuck somewhere, then we should ask them how you would like to solve this problem, or make it better. So we as parents should guide our children. They should discover and make connections on their own, and that is how we encourage divergent thinking in them. Home is a space wherein kids feel safe, so we should create a space for ideas, because when we feel safe from inside, then our ideas are more likely to come up when we step out of our comfort zones and we take on more challenges. So that's how kids get lots of ideas and all. Next is challenging ideas. So we should encourage our children, if they're doing something in a certain way, then we should ask them why we are doing it in this way. Can we do it some other way? Are there any problems and all? So when we do these things, this actually helps them to think out of the box and come up with innovative and encouraging solutions. We should encourage leaders through ownership. How we do that? We should praise our kids whenever they do something good, when they try to solve some problems, or they show the confidence to solve the problem at least. Let kids fail. This is very important, because as a parent, I would not want my child to be intellectual. I would want him to be aware of the failures, and know how to react when something like that comes in. They should be able to learn from their mistakes. This is very important. We should they should self-reflect on what they have learned and move on. And failures actually teach kids to be resilient in any situation, and it is very critical for building self-confidence. Then financial literacy, which is something that is not covered much in school, but as parents we can cover it. We should introduce them to the concept of money right from the beginning. They should be given incentives for the roles and responsibilities that they undertake. So right from the beginning we can start this. We should also stress on the positive relationships that are around us, because in business also we would like to do more business with people who are likable. So kids right from the growth stage, if they are aware of qualities of compassion and importance of compassion, then they will actually be much more open and aware for all these things. Communication is very important, because what happens throughout the day, if children are able to communicate with us, then it helps to inculcate thinking in them, do creativity, and it is very important for successful entrepreneurship. So by doing all these small things at home, I think we can start preparing our little entrepreneurs at home itself. We also need to develop a national entrepreneurship education policy framework. I will cover more on this in the coming slides. Next slide, please. Okay. So as a community, we need to organize more seminars, meetups, workshops, and lecture series, which will help entrepreneurs to grow. So now, why these meetups and seminars and everything? Because it's all about learning from the best. And no matter any entrepreneur, how talented they are, they may not know everything about everything. they may make mistakes. So the problem is, these mistakes can destroy your business. So, attending these meetings, these seminars will actually help you to avoid those mistakes. And, it's good because they learn a lot and can avoid something which can destroy their business. Second, it helps in making a lot of connections because there are so many people who come in, and it is important actually to make some connection outside your usual comfort circle. And meetings and seminars give you that opportunity. You get to learn a lot about your industry. I'll just share an example. I once went to a meetup, and I'm into logistics industry. So we introduced ourselves to someone, and they said, that company that's in your logistics sector, and they got funded. So I was not aware of that. I got to know from that third person. So you may think that you know everything about your industry, but it's not true. There are still everything, some many things happening which others can help you. So you get to learn about your industry. You also get your inspiration from such meetups. Like when I met Miss Navamita Mazumdar in the first meeting, that was actually the first time when I had picked up the stage to share about my company. And yes, the audience was full with males, and they were like very critical why a woman is into logistics and why she even standing there. So they were very, very critical, and they were expecting me to be like some Ola and Uber of that time, which I was not, because we had just started out. It was like 2.5 years back. Now we are more than 3 years old, but then that time we were still naive. So she was very inspiring because she actually stood up for me and said, a lady is at least standing here in front of all of you. She's trying to do something different. If you cannot support her, at least don't be critical. So that's how she stood up for me. So that's how she inspired me. So you never know which meeting will. So always beneficial for your as you can. You should in these seminars and things. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. So training programs. Now the training programs are very, very important. The ones that we used to have when we were in colleges were slightly different. Now, a lot of development has taken place in the entrepreneurial sector. Specialized programs have been designed. So now programs should be as such that they should cover the larger ecosystem, and it should benefit all the stakeholders of the system. They should not just be focused on the functional aspect of business management, but should cover more points. Sometimes it's very difficult to strike a balance between individual mentoring and group support. So one-to-one help and support should be given. Like in Maharashtra CIMSME, we have started an initiative in MSME wherein individual tailor-made solutions are given to startups and entrepreneurs who actually need that help. One solution given, and the program is a real hit. So I think programs like that should be always like to hear from real entrepreneurs. They would not like to hear it from someone who has not even got his hands dirty in the business. They would like to hear out from real people who have actually faced those problems and learned. So that is what the training programs can do. Next slide, please. All right. So the policies, I spoke about policies on my kids entrepreneurship slide. So the policies that we have, they should promote everyone, especially the newcomers. They should stop picking up the winners who have already established their name, or they have everything easily accessible. Help and support should be given to the ones who actually need them. A stronger ecosystem is needed, and coaching and mentoring are going to play a very, very critical role for any growth-oriented program. And major problem that any business might face is a capital, or being stuck as to what to do, what not to do. So having access to capital with good coaching will really have great opportunities for business growth. Then peer learning and social capital development should also be incorporated into training programs for entrepreneurs. Next slide, please. Okay, so these are using case studies. I'm not sure how many of us know what case studies are. So let me just tell you, if we Google case studies, you will get to know a whole lot of things about a business. Case study is nothing but actually a story. So when we were kids, we always, used to like stories. Even as adults, we do like them. If I tell you I'm going to tell you a story, all of you might suddenly be very attentive. So what is case studies? It is actually a story about a product, a company, a startup, an entrepreneur. So if you pick up, any study, any case study of any product, you will get to know the story behind that business. And by reading those stories, you get to learn so much. You can see the strategies that they adopted, what their background was, how they, how the journey went. So lot many things can be learned by case studies. So I would, suggest people to Google case studies of, startups and entrepreneurs, and take benefit from it. I'll just take example of Oyo Rooms. Ritesh, he used to sell SIM cards. Now, how he got into Oyo Rooms, I'm not going to share. Please do the Google search, and you will find his story, and you can, take it forward from here. So that's all about case studies. Okay. So, okay, these two quotes are available on the net, but have been shared by my dear friend Geeta Priya Iyer. She's part of the V team of CIMSME, and she said you should, use these quotes because these are really good. Mindset is what separates the best from the rest. So, an entrepreneur mindset is what separates it the best from the rest. And a diamond is a chunk of coal that did well under pressure. So that is what an entrepreneur is all about. Yes, the journey is tough, everything is difficult, but then those who make it ultimately are the ones who get success. So that's all. And before I end, I would also like to speak about Mahanishta. So Mahanishta is actually an initiative by Maharashtra team of Nishtha Service Cluster. All the professionals and entrepreneurs across industries have come forward to extend their support in breaking the barriers in the industry and enhance the global reach through project management, latest technical support, and global networking. And these clusters are Umang, Uryajati, Digital Cocoon, Likhit, Pathshala. So I would take this opportunity to invite all of you and grace the Mahanishta Maha launch with your presence, which happens tomorrow. So thank you so much, everyone, and see you tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Sangeeta, for sharing your journey. And also you have spoken about, the entrepreneurship and the meaning, and then how actually it is there in Sanskrit itself, right? Yeah. And after hearing from Nabomita ma'am, yeah, I really appreciate your courage to be a strong leader, a women leader, and you are going to set an example for all the young entrepreneurs here in India. All the best to you, Sangeeta. Thank you so much for joining us in our celebration. Thank you. Next speaker today we have is Ms. Aparna G. Kumar. Ms. Aparna is a postgraduate in English literature. After her marriage, she was in Muscat for about 12 years, where she worked as an educational consultant and sales manager of Time Life, an educational division of Time Magazine Group. There, she got a chance to attend a lot of parenting workshops and learn a lot about positive parenting. Being an only daughter, she had to come back and settle in Calicut due to her mother's illness. With the thought to help her mother to cope up with her problems and also other elders having similar problems, she set up Home Care, the elder care specialty shop in Calicut. Home Care is the first of its kind in India, an exclusive showroom which caters to the needs of the senior citizens. Joined Junior Chamber International in 2012 to become a motivational speaker and a trainer with the dream of creating ambition in the children of Kerala and to teach them to dream big. She was the national coordinator for gender equality, JCI India, in 2016. She represented JCI India to the United Nations for the JCI UN Global Partnership Summit held in New York in July 2016. An active Rotarian, this year she is the state chair for Rotary Vision to Public Mission. She is the State Director, Kerala, for Women Entrepreneurship and Empowerment of CIMSME, and also the Executive Director of Nishtha Phoenix, one of the global virtual industry clusters under CIMSME. Married to Girish Kumar, who is a healthcare professional in Muscat and blessed with two daughters, Abhirami and Anupriya. Ma'am, we are so happy to have you with us today. And I request you to share your experience with us on the title The Other Side of the Story. Over to you.
If you could share the video. Are you there, Biju?
Yeah, sir is there.
Fresh new whip and the colors orange. Stocked up fridge like a scene from Cribs. Sunset views and the weeks don't end. Traveling the world with a few best friends. Make Facebook ads and the money's passive. Instagram mastering more traffic. Snapchat vids with the orange hat kids. In the audience, we just want success. And we don't care about the obstacles and the haters that keep saying it's impossible. All they know is that we gotta go. Level up our lifestyle if we love the game. And we don't care about the obstacles and the haters that keep saying it's impossible. All they know is that we gotta go. Level up our lifestyle if we love the game.
What's up, man? You look stressed.
Kind of hard to pay bills when your bank account's negative by $200.
Have you tried getting a loan?
Yeah, right. When's the last time you heard somebody getting a loan when you have a 485 credit score?
I think I know someone who can get us out of this mess. I think you should give him a call.
Success leaves clues. Knowledge is the key, so equipped with the right tool. Mindset mastery, millionaire mentality. Focus on your inner game. Perception is reality. Always make sure that you're following your passion. Rise and grind and take massive action. Stay true to the game daily with persistence. Following your game plan, gotta stay consistent. When you feel a little bit of fear, coming from the voice of excited ears, telling you the struggles of your past years. Stay focused on your purpose and why you're here. When you feel a little bit of fear, coming from the voice of excited ears, telling you the struggles of your past years. Stay focused on your purpose and why you're here.
Hello, good evening, all. Hope you all saw the life of an entrepreneur. Greatness begins beyond your comfort zone. My dear friends, good evening and happy World Entrepreneurs Day to every one of you. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share my story with you all. You just saw a video. You just saw the dream life of an entrepreneur. We all get into entrepreneurship thinking and hoping that one day we will have a dream life like this. But is this the real picture? It's not. Let me tell you the other side of the story. There can be many other sides of the story. It can be the struggles, the hard reality any entrepreneur faces. It can be the struggles exclusive for a woman entrepreneur. I would like to focus on the second part, a reality which every woman entering into into entrepreneurship must know so that she can be prepared to face what comes in her way. And a reality which every man should understand so that he can handhold other women, support and help her lift herself to a global level. I have been into entrepreneurship from 2012 and into women leadership from 2014, and it has been a tough journey. When I'm talking today, after 10 long years of struggle in my place, my mind fills with a lot of emotions. The hurt, the pain, the struggle, the tears I have shed in my lonely moments, the fears I've gone through in various situations, the courage I had to show when I was shivering inside. 10 long years. I have had a lot of happy moments too, and had a lot of support from my family, my husband, my daughter, my friends, my relatives, the media, of course. But still, it was a very lonely journey most of the time. The 10 long years taught me a lot of skills like patience, active listening, empathizing, importance of clear communication, problem solving, creative thinking, instant decision making. And as years went by, I realized my passion for mentoring people. I believe there are a lot of skills that should be naturally coming to an entrepreneur, and leadership skills is an integral part. We will have to interact with a lot of people, including our staff. We will have to lead. We will have to clearly communicate our vision, and we will have to mentor them every day till they clearly understand and follow our vision. It was my passion which drove me into entrepreneurship. I had not, in my wildest dreams, thought that I will be an entrepreneur one day. I was not extraordinary in school. I was not born in a business family. I didn't have any idea how to run a business, and I was not rich. But the thought came when I found a huge gap in the area of elder care, that too 8 years back. I was born into a middle class family where I was told that girls don't have to do much because they are going to get married and move to a new home. But my dad had big dreams, though he failed to communicate it to me. I just remember a few instances where when someone asked him, "You have only one daughter?" He used to answer, "Indira Gandhi was an only daughter." Here, I would really like to stress upon the point that there should be a very open communication of parents with the children. They should really put an effort to communicate with them the love, the care, the support they have for their children, that too without any conditions. Give them wings to fly and be sure they are there for them with an eye on them when they need our support. I realized the love and care of my parents, what the love they had for me only when they left me and I was left alone. Coming back to my story, I was brought up saying that someday my Prince Charming will come and give me my dream life, buy me whatever I want, and take me wherever I want to go. And then one day, my Prince Charming came, and the first thing he taught me was to be independent. You have to take care of yourself. Don't use my name as a tail. Build your identity yourself. You have the ability to fly. Go ahead and fly. I'm sure he's listening now. And let me take this opportunity to thank him and tell him, though I was shocked to hear that for the first time, and I was scared and I used to get so angry with him. But now that is what has made me to talk my story to a huge audience today. I was living in Muscat happily with my family when my mother started falling sick. She was 72 and her sodium potassium levels started fluctuating very regularly, and she was very frequently hospitalized. Since I'm an only daughter, I had to take the tough decision to come back and settle down in India. I had to leave the comfort zone and take charge of things here. I had a daughter in 5th standard and also a newborn to take care. In the first year here, my mother had to undergo an angioplasty and she went into depression. She had glaucoma, cataract, and had to undergo surgeries for that as well. And she was slowly losing her eyesight. I had to take care of her like a baby. Most of the times, I literally had to forget my own baby. My mother passed away in last May, and I can feel her blessings coming my way every day. Last 10 years, I was fully with her. But the real story begins when I started searching for something which could improve my mother's vision. I didn't know that in glaucoma, the vision reduces into a tunnel vision, and slowly the size of the tunnel reduces. I wanted to help my mom read her prayer books. I wanted to help my mom read the newspaper. That's the only thing I needed then. I started researching. I got so excited to see A4 size lenses for elderly in US and UK. The next problem arose how to get this here. I have a mindset that when I think of something, I think of everybody. This thought came to my mind that a lot of mothers and fathers may need the same things. So why not bring for everyone? But how? One more incident happened which changed my life forever. I was staying in an apartment near the hospital where my mother was being treated. There were a lot of doctors staying in the apartment. I observed that an ambulance used to come every day and park near my kitchen window. I started observing and found that that was to take an orthopedician's mother who had fallen in the bathroom, broke her hip, and had underwent a surgery recently. The doctor used to take her to the hospital every day with him because there was no one to take care of her at home. I wondered, if an ortho doctor's mom is suffering like this, what will our situation be? I started researching again. I found that World Health Organization says that many of that one third of elderly people of above 65 years fall each year, and in half of such cases, the falls are recurrent. The risk doubles or triples in the presence of cognitive impairment or history of previous falls. You might have seen on this August 10th, our former president Pranab Mukherjee had a fall in the bathroom late at night and suffered injuries on the forehead and temple and had to undergo a brain surgery. So when I saw that the issue was so serious, I started searching for solutions. World Health Organization again said that many of these falls can be prevented by simple bathroom modifications. This was my moment. I immediately started searching for companies to supply these products. As I said, nothing was available in India, and I decided to import these products. I took dealership of 2 companies in US and UK and brought the products here. But the challenge started after that. There was no tax exemption for senior citizen products. The customs duty was very high. I didn't know how to do the pricing. Somehow we managed to start the showroom. And then new challenges came up. I was new to the field. I was new to business. I had my home to take care. I had to buy groceries. I have to cook. I had my baby to take care. I had my sick mom to take care. I had to manage my staff who were not able to share my vision, do budgeting, stock taking, stock reordering, people complaining products are very expensive. But they were friends who supported me, who shared my excitement. The media who supported me crazily since this was by a woman entrepreneur and also for a social cause. All these days have gone. And now, as I look back, I have touched a lot of elderly people's lives. I have prevented a lot of people from falling. I get a lot of blessings after each bathroom modification I do. I had also done an online course from the US on how to do bathroom modifications for elderly with different problems. Some may have hearing issues, some may have vision problems, some may need more light in their room, some may need no light. Different people, different solutions. And as I touch these lives, I realize that life was so short. Time runs so fast, there is no replay, no rewind. Live your life to the fullest. Be happy as much as you can because we don't know what God has in store for us. The day my mother passed away, there was a moment when I felt I don't want to live anymore. But suddenly, a voice told me, I have to live. I have to live for the mothers and fathers whose children don't realize what they wish for. They always want your love, your care. They are waiting for your call, your loving words. Dear friends, make sure after this session, please, after the session ends, please make a call to your parents and tell them how much you love them. That would make their day their ultimate, that is the ultimate happiness. And I believe when you are in business, you touch people's lives. When you are in business, in show business, you have to be a brand yourself. which speaks loudly about your products and services. You have to be a brand which speaks humanity, kindness, care, support. You have to be a brand which speaks about trust, confidence, credibility. You have to be a brand which speaks strength and courage. If you persist long enough, all this comes back to you as blessings. I'm proud and happy that CMSME gave me such a platform to speak about my dreams today. My dream is to create a safe and happy world for elderly in India. My dream is to create a safe and happy world for girls where they can lead, speak out their opinions, and perform without fear. My dream is to create a world where each and every woman handholds and supports another woman to create miracles in each other's lives. You may think, is it all possible? With a platform like CMSME, I believe magic can happen. Why accept mediocrity when excellence is an option? Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Hope we can build a new world together. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Aparna ma'am. Your story is really very, very inspiring for all of us.
Thank you.
And what you are doing right now is the need of the hour, where the elderly people needs to be taken care of, and you are providing that services to them. It's really hats off to you.
Thank you.
And yeah. And one question, I have, I just wanted to ask you, what is that moment which triggered you? Yes, I can become an entrepreneur and I can start this.
Actually, there was no moment like that. It just,
Oh, okay.
I just wanted to help my mother, and similarly, I
Okay.
help others. That's all. I never thought I'm getting into business. I just was
Okay.
excited and passionate to help others. That's all.
Oh,
So many
yeah.
years later, I came into business.
Okay. Ma'am, it shows that it's not only entrepreneurs need to always think about, earning profit. It's also they need to have an empathy for others. Yeah, that's we understood from your story. Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for joining us in our celebration today. Thank you. Now we would like to invite Ms. Darshana Ramesh, a founder of Concept Design Company, to our celebration today. And Ms. Darshana Ramesh is also a state president CI MSME Karnataka. And she is a technical textile designer, passionate on blending weaves and play on colors. She has completed her diploma in textiles. With all her technical and practical knowledge, she has started her journey with Gokas Mills as assistant in dyeing lab. With a passion for designing, she got a chance to work with top world-class Indian brand Mrs. Shyam Ahuja, the Thai Silk India, etc. This enabled her to polish her knowledge in home fashion designing, and she got multiple opportunities working with top global brands like Stark, Carpet, etc. while she was with them. After a wide experience and a vision, she started her company, Mrs. Concept Designs, in the year 1996 and created a platform with exporters and created a mark on designs which stood up with tall global clients like Fabric Cut, Robert Allen, Romo, to name a few. Shortly elaborating concept designs and worked on best of resources in creating home fashions and placing Indian designs on global mapping, she has done a lot. She says that we Indians are the best with our knowledge and quality work, and she feels that this is the starting point, and she has introduced under the brand Diti. And she says that is her contribution to her motherland. Now I request Ms. Darshana Ramesh to share her experience and journey of Diti with us.
Yeah.
Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Thanks for that wonderful introduction. And I would thank CMSME, Mount Carmel College, for giving such a beautiful platform for all the entrepreneurs here. and happy Entrepreneurs Day to one and all. Starting my journey, yes, 1996, I started my journey. The journey, like has everybody told, it was not a planned journey at all. We didn't have this platform of building an entrepreneurs, or we didn't have that training going on and or something. But it was my passion, towards the designing. So whenever I used to see anything, the designs used to be inborn with me. So hence I was placed in such a field that I was able to reach the global market with just a diploma in textiles from Bangalore University. And my journey started with Gokak Mills, as you told. The Gokak Mills was just a stepping stone where I started playing with colors. So it was not passionate because again it was into chemical bonded. So then I got a chance to work with Shah Mahuja, and hence my journey started on quality and the designs, and how can I place Indian designers on the global mapping. So I have got a small presentation. Can you just share the presentation on the slide, ma'am?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Yeah, Diti is the other name for Mother Earth. So after my journey, my journey started with Shah Mahuja. And after coming back from Thailand, I started my own concept designs, which was serving for all the export houses in Bangalore and India. So what I tell the entrepreneurs is, you need to you should have that passion to drive your dream. So once if you have the passion, nobody will stop you. And next comes the planning. So when you have the passion, you need to really search out your own. Nobody are the godfathers here. So you have to have that in mind and drive yourself. So talking about Diti was a small dream. When I used to see the export houses or the global players, I wanted our Indian designs to be stand in a global market. So we started with a small studio wherein we give customized service, and we give them the color options wherein it can blend with their interior designs. And even we are working with top and globally. Some of the customers whom I really are working with are the Chamundi Silks, the Mulberry Silks, the UTM. And the best part in my journey was, always very, very helpful and supportive, because I was the only woman in the field of embroideries. Out of 60,000 embroidered machines in Bangalore, I was alone lady heading in this field. And I thank one and all for that. The next slide, please. Yeah. In the year 2016, I'm really happy to tell you that these were the designs which went into the collection of Harley Quinn. And Harley Quinn he's a customer who are very particular about the design, the color works, and the way it has been placed. So this inspiration was just with the common Ganesha festival. When I just went to my native, it was like a pataka design. And when I just brought into the fabric, I'm happy to tell you that this was globally accepted with 6 color works. And not only in the fabrics, it was taken on the wallpaper, wall panels. And along with this, the next slide, please. Yeah. Can you just scroll on the next slide, ma'am? Next slide. Yeah. So these were a few of the designs which, I started working. You can see the Indian motif in that. Maybe you are just seeing the mango design, or the center one, what you are seeing, it's from the Taj Mahal. And the last one with the leaf, broken leaf, is nothing but a concept from a very normal the plant what I've taken. So what I tell the entrepreneurs is, because many of the entrepreneurs are here and the students are here, I would just like to tell you is, the concepts, and in textiles especially, we have lots of concepts. And textiles is not only the fashion what the drive is on. We have lots of opportunities coming for home textiles. And I think India plays a very important role. Like when I see the abroad collections, I think almost 50 to 60% are from Indian and others are from China. So, we have various options in the field of home textiles. And along with this, if you can really do a product development, has with the quality level, there's lots of scope, especially for Indians, because we are very much technically strong. And the only thing I would like to tell you is the quality of the colors and the textures and the fabrics, which has to be blend with a perfect combination. The next slide, please. Yeah. In this journey, you can see the first slide, which is again, it's called Azul. Azul was one of the toppest hit in my collections, which has been marketed worldwide. The next photo, what you're seeing is on silk linen, which is called Kolam. Kolam, and you can see the working on in my factory. And this was a perfect journey because the US designer had to come down almost 4 to 5 times to really get that intricate work. So I am really happy to tell you that we were the first company which abroad designers were coming in. They used to work on the collections. They had the trust. What I tell again is, the entrepreneur should not only carry the passion, the trust, the minute details, everything matters a lot. And along with quality, what I always think about is the delivery part. So delivery also makes because abroad people are very much particular about the delivery on the set time. So these were the things what I learned in my journey of 18 years. And you can see the other design of Zimmermann Road. I would just like to tell about this is because when I started this design, it was just a broken twill what I wanted to put in. But it was my daughter who told me, if you can give me the variation, can you give a variation of 2 colors? So has then has what I'm telling is that this is the experience. It's you need to really talk to many people. What are the client requirement? And this is how the Zimmermann Road. It was one of the toppest listing in Zimmermann Road collection. You can see that working on the my factory. And the next slide, please. Yeah. So Diti and concept designs, you can see various designs. And that's what I always tell whenever I'm in the seminars or any of this platform. India is really filled with the designs and the colors and the textures and fabrics and peoples and wonderful things. Only thing, the blending, which makes it a perfect place, especially in abroad. It is like you can see like Jim Thompson. When you're just walking into Jim Thompson, you can just feel even a small keychain is being presented in a presentable way. It is with the passion, with the love. I think that drive has to come to our motherland, and that's what I'm just trying to do to my motherland. After living Bangkok, I have come back here, worked with the designers, worked with the rural people, wherein we can just take our Indian designs to the global level. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is again, I would really like to share with you some of the top designers globally, like, maybe the Perry Murray. And they had come here only to meet us. We were doing the toppest collection for UK brands, and we were doing the technical, what you tell, the stitches and the color works. It is a way, you have to learn a lot from the abroad market. That is the way they are taking in, when they are making a design, it is like, it is a journey of 9 months. I think this concept, which is not really studied in India, we need to take this to our students, our passionate drivers for entrepreneurs who are really taking their drive towards the fashion or the home textiles. And this is where, I would really like to thank CMSME, because, it's creating a very good platform for all the entrepreneurs, the networking and idea sharing and the support, along with the government agencies, wherein, we don't get this platform. That's what I'm trying to tell you. When I started the journey, we didn't have any of the platforms. It was a drive, it was a passion. Yes, I have to do it. And one more thing I want to tell you is, the entrepreneur is a beautiful journey. Just enjoy it. Its ups and downs comes away. It is again the wave. It comes and goes. And only thing, you should keep your goal open, and that's what I tell. The next slide, please. Yeah, this is me again. I would like to really proud to tell this is Darshana Ramesh, an Indian designer, and I've just named it as a V company because it is a woman company, and we try to give you marketing support along with the design concepts. Like, I'm trying to drive the technical training to the colleges or the entrepreneurs and the rural even, wherein we can blend the combination of both and get the product to the global, and wherein we can just proudly tell, yes, this is make in India product. And I would like to tell that I'm representing today VCIMSME Karnataka, and the team behind it is really supportive for me, and hopefully with this team we can drive this platform much more forward, what we are dreaming. Thank you. Any questions? Most welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for sharing your journey in Diti. As you said, it is, you rightly said, the way in which we present our things. India is rich with culture, things, color, everything. Right? Like when we go abroad and when we see things, how beautifully they have arranged it, that is what which we lack, as you rightly pointed out. So I think after listening to you, we are also motivated now, inspired now to to keep things in a beautiful manner arranged. You will be really inspiring to all the young entrepreneurs, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you so
ma'am.
much. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
Any questions? I welcome later. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Sangeeta, ma'am, is she there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, like I would like to ask one question, Sangeeta, to you. See, you are in a business where that is, we can say 90%, 90 or more than 90% of them are men, right? And you
Yes.
are a woman there in that. How do you face the challenges, in that very stiff, competitive, male competitive world there?
I think gender has never, come in my way. It's the knowledge that matters a lot.
Okay,
And when I'm able to answer their questions or, speak to them in a language that they understand,
okay,
irrespective of my gender, I think that works for me. Yes, initially, when I, give presentations or speak about my journey, that time, the audience might have, issues because they are, not able to digest the fact that, a lady can be in the logistics business.
yeah,
But then here I am, and it's been more than 3 years, and we are a startup recognized by the government of India, and
okay.
we're doing pretty well. So I think my work speaks for myself, and I don't have to worry about gender anymore.
Okay. What is the growth of, logistics industry as such in India as of now, ma'am? Like, because we see lot many have come online now, and then lot many logistics companies have come in for, to have a proper supply chain management. Where do you see this logistics company in the, in the near future?
So if we talk about logistics, it's actually a huge industry, and there are various sectors that these companies are focusing in. Like Portflip is focusing in the intracity logistics market, which is around $60 billion industry. There are many players in it, and still, I can say if new players come and join in the market with us, I still feel they will all have a fair chance to be. The only difference that one is going to make is through their services and the delivery that they have and the impact of experience that they create in the on the customer's mindset. So that is going to play an important role, and it is a big industry, and it has huge scope for everyone and anyone. If I'm here and I can do, I think anyone can do who has some passion for this industry.
Okay.
And
Thank you, ma'am.
it will survive. Even in
Yes, yes, yeah.
COVID-19 times, our industry is still surviving because we can do online meetings, but then if you need something, it has to go by a truck.
True, true. That is very true. Yeah. Aparna ma'am, like any your suggestions for our young entrepreneurs from our college? Ma'am, you are muted.
Sorry. Okay. So I would like to invite everyone, like all the girls, to join our journey of entrepreneurship. It's really challenging and it's really thrilling. I was working for so long, and later on, when I entered this, initially, though I had to face a lot of challenges, the huge networks, huge connections, more than money. It's the friendships and relationships we build, the lives we touch. It matters a lot. And I would like to invite everybody to join to be an entrepreneur.
To be an entrepreneur. Right. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. Darshana ma'am, like we also have in our college, like FAD department, fashion and apparel designing department, and also we have an IDM department, interior design and management department.
Yes, ma'am.
Those girls, like they have their projects and the assignments to do in these areas. Like, what kind of projects do you suggest for them to take it up so that they can even build the quality of entrepreneur in themselves?
Okay. It's a good question, ma'am. What I feel is, like first is the market survey. Whenever you are into you have already decided that you want to be an entrepreneur. I think the first is the passion, and next is the market survey. Like as Aparna ma'am told, it was because of her mother we are trying to do, and even when Sangeeta is talking about logistics, we feel so proud. We are really proud women's being here on the platform. But what I feel is they have to see the small accessories, actually parts. Like when we are seeing at a huge market, I think India stands third in the garment manufacturing after Bangladesh and Sri Lanka. So we have small accessories which are being a very big requirement for the global market. So those are the trainings which I'm really working out now. And
Okay.
we always import this from China. And as the drive says, Corona has come, and we all are driving towards the local and make in India. So I
Yeah.
feel, the minute, the quality level, what I'm telling, maybe it's a small budding or the rose or the crochet or anything, no, that has to be equipped into not only the fashion, even the home textiles, and it can be done in all the variations. It is going for the gifting, it is going for the curtains, it is going for the cushions, it is everything. So that is a variation what we need to really look into that. And one more thing I would like to tell you is, if they can just work on the eco products, maybe it is eco dyeing or the natural dyeing, which is really coming up into the market, and giving the work to the rural women, wherein you can just give the training. You are the head now, you are into the urban area, so you are being connected online everywhere. So you are on the platform, you are driving the show, the customers. So I think we need to turn back and see where our mothers are, our grandmas are being. I think from them we learn lots actually. That I think that will be the best answer for this. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. Hopefully, like, if we need your guidance for our students in these areas, we will come back to you, ma'am. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, yeah. Thank you, Sangeeta, Aparna, and Darshana for joining us today.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you. The next speaker of today's celebration session is Ms. Sahitya Raj. I would like to introduce her, and she is the co-founder, CTO, CHO, Serial Technologies Private Limited, and she is also Deputy Vice President of CI MSME, Telangana State. Commendable innate creativity combined with multidisciplinary approach is what aptly defines Sahitya Raj. Currently, being the co-founder, Chief Technology Officer, and Chief Happiness Officer of Srial Technologies Private Limited, she is an entrepreneur at heart and in reality. Software engineer and programmer by education, choice, passion, fitness, enthusiast, and she is an influencer. She holds a bachelor degree in computer science and engineering and has a remarkable 2 years of work experience. Remember, sometimes not getting what you want is a wonderful stroke of luck. God has better plans for you. This is how, while she planned to become a bureaucrat to realize her dream of serving the nation and people, God felt that entrepreneurship suits her better. And is the apt way to pursue her goals and aspirations. However, the outcome of her civil preparation was incredible in terms of the knowledge she gained in different disciplines and the self transformation which she actually cherishes and is grateful forever. Sahitya joined her sister Sneha Raj in founding Sriyal Technologies Private Limited in 2015. Sriyal has developed into a global digital technology service provider. With a combination of their tech expertise and business intelligence, Sriyal works with various businesses, organizations, and entrepreneurs from diverse industries and diverse geographies across India and abroad to achieve digital transformation. All said, so far, many incredible accolades and opportunities have been credited to her during her entrepreneurial journey with her company. Ma'am, I request you to share your experience on digital transformation, and I once again welcome you for today's celebration, ma'am. Over to you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shanti. It was a great introduction. It was 2 years experience, work experience with Tata Consultancy Services, but I carry around 10 years of experience and exposure to the software industry.
Okay.
Yeah. And a very good evening to all the audience who have joined us on this great day of of World Entrepreneurs. I wish all the upcoming entrepreneurs and the entrepreneurs who are already on the board a very happy Entrepreneurs Day. Cherish the opportunities and the freedom of being an entrepreneur. Before I begin my talk, I'll give you a numerical figure related to digital transformation. Say 16%. Can you make a wild guess or something about how is it related to digital transformation? According to McKinsey research, only 16% of digital transformation projects yield sustainable positive results. Any business has to undergo transformation at some point or the other. However, the digital transformation is being a very most challenging one for most of the businesses in this era. Don't worry about the percentage that I've given to you, because there is a chance to increase the chance for success. For that, it is crucial to understand about what effective approaches have in common. Here I am today, Sahitya Raj, co-founder, Chief Technology Officer, and Chief Happiness Officer at Sriyal Technologies Private Limited. Sriyal has evolved into a global digital technology service provider, enabling digital transformation of businesses, organizations, and entrepreneurs from diverse industries and diverse geographies across India and abroad. My sister Sneha Raj and I have co-founded Sriyal Technologies 5 years ago, embracing the responsibility to bring digital transformation in, catalyze the change, and deliver results in as many businesses as possible at our best capacity. But you might be wondering, why did we have to take that responsibility at that time? Yes, because we have realized and recognized the potential of digital transformation. Digital transformation is not an option anymore. It is the need of the hour for the sustenance and existence. All the industries are now believing that digital transformation is the way forward, and it is important for their continued success. Many businesses are opting for digital transformation to sustain and gain a competitive edge over their counterparts past or the present success, business success, doesn't guarantee a future success in this era. Today, after 5 years, after working with almost over 100 clients from diverse industries like solar, entertainment, hospitality, fitness, food, clothing, and health industries, and many more, I am here today boasting about my success, experience, and learning so that I can share my knowledge with the women or with the girls who are passionate about taking a profession in STEM and technology. They don't get scared about it and they put their steps forward. With all this said now, I would like to clear the air around digital transformation and decode and demystify it, because there is, even though this message is coming out very loudly from all the panel discussions, all the articles out there, there is a slight confusion about the term digital transformation. So today, instead of giving you a direct, straight away theoretical definition, I would like to explain it to you in a more practical sense. As Sangeeta has already mentioned in her presentation today, if it is more it is more approachable, or effective, if we discuss it in the form of a story. So I'll tell you a story now so that you will understand what is digital transformation by the end of it. And this is not this is in fact a real-time case study of a very well-known brand from the food industry. Though I have professionally worked with many businesses and I have witnessed the digital transformation in the businesses on my own, I have picked this particular case study so that you can understand the concept of digital transformation very easily. To maintain a little surprise element in that, I will reveal the name of the brand after some time. So the company has started collecting the data very intensively, very aggressively, and they did not collect data randomly from any agency that is providing the data out in the market. They started collecting the data of their own clients and customers. They incorporated the data analytics into their marketing and sales efforts. They saw what their customers were trying to order from their products, how the preferences of the customers were changing based on the weather and the time of the day. They personalized their offerings accordingly. They changed the store assortment, the inventory. They managed their inventory very effectively, optimized their marketing materials. After putting all these efforts, what is the outcome? What has the company achieved? Are you all curious to know? Yes, company sales increased multi-fold. The costs were cut drastically across all the departments. It could gain the trust and engage the customers to a very great extent. Should I reveal the name of the brand? It is widely very, very well known for its roasted coffee. It is none other than Starbucks. It was known earlier for its coffee. Now it is known as a big, successful, and effective digitally transformed company. Coffee and digital. What could be the possible connection? Here it is. They also had IoT. They used all the Industry 4.0 technologies. IoT, name it, IoT, AI, artificial intelligence, machine learning, cloud computing, everything. And they had everything in place. And they came up with innovative ways to connect the people who are drinking the coffee to the people who are producing it, who are producing the beans. They put IoT enabled machines in place so that they could collect the details about the type of beans that were used, the quality of water being used, the coffee temperature, everything. It was, like 5 megabytes of data in an 8-hour shift. This is with all this, the amount of transformation, the amount of progress they could make is incredible. I have said all this because I want you all to broaden your thought process when you try to understand the process of digital transformation. It is not limited to making your business go online or making or marketing your product digitally. Don't limit it to yourself. Limit digital transformation to that. By now, you might have understood like what digital transformation covers. It covers the different aspects of a business. But I'll help you to phrase, and I'll help you with the definition of digital transformation now. It is, embedding and leveraging digital technology and digital strategy in every area of the business and connecting all the departments to drive 4 major outcomes. 1, increased customer engagement, optimized business processes, empowered people and culture, and transformed business models. It is imperative for all the businesses like small, medium, micro, large enterprises, be it any scale, it is mandatory now. And luckily, COVID has made most of the businesses to take the first step, to leave that comfort zone and go out of the comfort zone and put their step to get digitally transformed. And if you ask me now, okay, what is that strategy? One strategy, give me one process where now I can make my business get digitally transformed. It's not like that. It's not that straightforward. There is no one size that fits all the companies. Each company has to work on it. It has to adopt different and customized strategies in order to succeed. Our journey working with different industries has been very challenging. And where we are asking, or we are motivating girls to take up a career in STEM. Back in 2015, we have co-founded a company. 2 girls together, 2 sisters together have co-founded a technology company and have brought it this far. We are very enthusiastic and energetic to share our learnings with y'all, eager to share our learnings with y'all. When we started the journey, it wasn't our thought. We were not, from a business background or with an MBA background or anything. We jumped off the cliff of entrepreneurship, and on the way, we started building our wings. It was our passion that was making us go forward. Entrepreneurship gave us all the freedom to explore all the platforms, and it gave us an opportunity to work with different executive level people from different geographies of the world and different diverse industries. So what is the key takeaway that I want you all to take home from my session is that do not fear technologies. If you are running a business, and if it is in this generation, and if you are aiming to grow very efficiently and go very far in future, it is mandatory that you have to give a honest and deep thought process into different aspects of your business, like the process, culture, people, competencies, models, customers, everything, all the aspects of the business, and see where you can embed the Industry 4.0 technologies and leverage them and get the best possible results out of it. You have to get comfortable with failure, experiment often. You have to reduce your time to market. If you have to take a product, now there is no time that you can spend 6 months just sitting and planning. You have to experiment often and roll it out. And entrepreneurship in the field of technology, you have to enter it with an open mind, and it will be a beautiful journey.
Thank you, Sahitya. for sharing your very inspiring story with us. And as you rightly said, now we are living in a world where the digital transformation is the thing, right?
Yes.
And that is the one which all of us have to use in all our activities, including, say, for example, even teaching now. Like the education, I feel, education is the only sector which is using this digital transformation to a greater extent now,
Yes.
because thanks, maybe one way it is a thanks to the current
COVID.
pandemic
Yes.
situation also.
Absolutely.
Right. And you so beautifully explained how the digital transformation is used in each and every aspect of the business.
Yes. It's not
Right.
limited to marketing or just one part of the business. Expand,
Yeah.
broaden your thinking.
Yes, really. And then that is, we can say, as you rightly said, we shouldn't be afraid of the technology.
Yes.
I think it's every one of us, each and every one of us have to learn it, right? Because without that, we cannot, survive. And if you wanted to be a very successful entrepreneur,
Yes.
as you said, yes, we all have to learn and we have to master it.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Sagatya, for highlighting the importance of getting to know about the digital transformation and how it is used in the business enterprises. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining
Thanks
us.
for this opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. The next speaker of today's session, we have Mrs. Rahat Khan, founder and CEO of Nature Craft. And ma'am is having 35 years of work experience. And she is also owner and director of Metal God Private Limited, COO of Kosovai Industries Private Limited. And she is also an MPre Tech graduate from UNTAD. She is the Joint Secretary of CI MSME Telangana State, MSME Growth Vertical of Telangana Government. And ma'am has been awarded with various rewards like Best Smart Startup Award by ALETA in 2017. Best Emerging MSME of Telangana by Top Big Ideas and Government of Telangana in March 2019. And she was the recipient of Voice Today Excellence Award in Organic category in 2019. And she's felicitated by J. Wing of JCI Hyderabad Deccan for the contribution in the agricultural field. And she is also honored with a memento by She Manufacturers by Skoda for successful entrepreneurship journey in manufacturing on International Women's Day in 2019. The passion for bringing awareness to people about eating healthy and making the world a beautiful place to live in is the vision and mission of Nature Craft Ma'am's company. It is a startup company founded on 10th April 2016, retailing through a store and an e-commerce website dealing in groceries and farm fresh produce of veggies and fruits grown naturally under ZBNF and GPA methods. Organic, the startup is committed to serving the best products grown and made by farmers who are committed to health of the soil and the people around them. Ma'am, it's pleasure having you with us today. Now, I request you to share your views on healthy and mindful eating, which is very important for us to lead a healthy life. Over to you, ma'am. To you, ma'am.
Assalamu alaikum, namaskaram, and good evening. Ma'am, you said so much about, and yes, the 35 plus experience comes because I'm 58 years young, and I still feel starting a journey is always anytime, everywhere, and every time.
Yes, ma'am.
So I really want to thank CIMSME and you to give me this opportunity to share my views as to how that 35 plus years of experience has brought me here as a speaker to share all what I've gone through. I am the eldest daughter of 3 sisters of my parents, with no brothers, come from a very, very small family of a Muslim convert. It's, you should say it's like a conservation family. My dad always thought, what if I don't have son? I can treat my daughter as son. That was so long back, 40 years back. And that's what the strength gave me to be what I am today. Entrepreneur, a word, very beautiful word for everybody. We feel that entrepreneurship is something, a big thing where people have years of experience. But for me, I feel everybody is an entrepreneur in themselves. When it comes to work, everybody knows that women do everything. We call ourselves multitasking. And yes, we are the most experienced species on the earth, on the face of the earth. So today's my journey. I wish I could inspire somebody to tell you how I have come so far. As I said that I, being brought up like a tomboy, like a boy, so always had that that thing like that I have to do something for my family, to take care of my parents, like as if, and fill that void of not having a son. They shouldn't feel that, okay, I don't have a son, so that doesn't mean the responsibilities are not should. That was always in my mind. So I was fortunate enough to get married very soon. Maybe I was just 20 plus when I got married. And still, I stayed with my parents and I started working. I joined in a very small company initially to learn things. That was my first journey of what I call job, which is very small. And I worked at around 500 rupees in the year 1982. It was necessary because those days I wanted to know how people will bring up their families, will take care of their families, will take the responsibilities to take care of the family. Here I would like to say, I thank my husband for giving me that freedom and opportunity where I'm sure very rarely women get, because I have seen many people, they don't have the views or they don't have the thoughts to do something because they are always stopped by their mother-in-law, father-in-law, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, husband, mother, father, so many around. But he actually gave me the 100% freedom here. And I'm lucky enough and thank God for that. That freedom actually made me think, what is it that I can do further? So when we got married, we started this Metal Guard Industries. It is a manufacturing of chemicals, specialty chemicals. So it was, as they say, it's a man's business to know about chemicals. You don't find women in this industry to working like that. But then again, the freedom what I got, I learned things to do. I worked hard. It is like knowing the job. It's not that you are the owner, you sit behind and get the work done. I literally did the work to do that. So there I got the experience of what a company is and how you can set up a company. So we were doing about exports. So setting up a company, how to do the building up of things, putting up reactors, blenders. I learned it from my husband. So I worked for some years in that company of mine. And then I said, now all done, after 15 years, I decided I should do something for myself. But it didn't happen because it gives you, though you have the experience, again, it's a matter of money, finances. And when you have definitely approach a bank for a loan, what they ask you is, do you have a guarantee? Do you have some securities? Because a single woman, they feel, cannot run a business. To prove them wrong, I sat looking at things, doing what can be happen. So as I was part of many women organizations, I met a friend of mine who said, you have so much of knowledge in food and you look so young. Why don't you do something in organic? And that is exactly what I felt. Organic is the end thing now, being healthy and looking at things in a different way. Then we started this nature craft at that moment. I said, yes, this is the time where I can spread my things to people. So I certified myself as a nutritionist then at the age of 54. And people said, what, you're learning, you're teaching? For me, every day is a learning. And I feel you can learn from everyone. Today, thank you for the speakers who spoke before me. I have learned so much from them. And Sahitya so beautifully told me digitally. I'm sure I feel now I should learn something in digital, because I'm very bad at computers. Because I, coming from a background of agriculture family, love to work in the mud. So it is always like, putting up things, doing this, doing that. So when we talk about healthy eating, as my topic says, why healthy eating? They say, you are what you eat. Everybody knows. You talk about small, but they talk about calories, they talk about diet, they talk about good food, they talk about nutritional facts. But do we really know that what we are eating is healthy? Do we really look at the labels? Do we really look at nutritional facts? When we talk about healthy eating, I would like to bring to your notice what is mindful eating. For example, how many of us eat food while watching a television or looking into our beautiful phones? Everybody has a smartphone. Everybody, while eating food, they look into things and they are chatting or something. When we talk about mindful eating, this is there where I should. You do one thing at a time, not many things, and especially when you eat. How many of you have noticed that when you eat while doing something, you eat more? So that's not called mindful eating. You know what you're putting into your plate and what you're eating. And mindful eating comes when you have all the food on the plate, you look at it, you smell the food, you feel so good. There are so many things connected to it. And when you really enjoy the food on your plate and you love to have it, then that is when you become healthier. And that is where you have get the things set right for yourself. So that is what we call healthy and mindful eating. It's not just saying, oh, today I had a glass of lime water in the morning and I just go for walking or exercise for an hour and then say, oh, I have lost so many kgs, and then go home, sit on the couch, look at the movie, just eat a bag full of chips and then have a nice dinner, which is like a Hyderabadi biryani, because we are so brought up from the Nawab's family. That's not called healthy eating and mindful eating. It is a process which has to be done every single day. You set your mind to eat what is good for you, what is healthy for you, and where it comes from. It's not just, see, people talking about, oh, you should eat this, you should eat millets, you should, everything in the right proportion, what is required for the body, and eating correctly on time in a gap of 3 hours, 4 hours, having 5 meals a day, eating what you know what you're eating on your plate, thinking, enjoying the flavors, the aromas, the look of the food actually fills your stomach. And that's how you become more healthier. Our body is so, it's like a small computer where the mind sends you signals and says, yes, it's enough, you have eaten. That is when you understand. If you're looking at something and your brain is working somewhere else and you're eating what is on your plate, it doesn't give you the facts that you're eating a good food. Same way, what you think, what you eat, what you do is all related to things. So today what I want to tell you is whatever you eat healthy, do mindful eating, think about it. Just don't grab things, don't run about things. And people who want to coming into systems, you can do it every single day. Diet plans go on, exercises go on, do anything, but do it on a regular basis. That's what we can talk about healthy eating and mindful eating. Me in the organic industry, yes, I have spoken to people. I'm helping to make it a very beautiful place to live in. There are so many things coming. How do you know it's organic? That's what people tell. It is when you eat, again, you will definitely know the difference between eating an organic or a natural grown food and a genetically modified product. So everything comes when you eat. It's not that, oh, I look at it, it looks shining, it's red, it's bright. Everybody feels so, because so much of knowledge is coming from always. Unless you eat it, unless you taste it, you will not know the difference between a good food and a normal food. It's like everybody, my topic is like healthy eating. Everybody knows about eating, but how far are we looking at it? How far are we going to eat it? This is what I wanted to share, a small thing about myself. And I'm sure we all tend to have that mindful eating and healthy eating, and be what you are. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. And yes, I would always love an interactive session, because I'm so used to answering questions. So if for me, I feel talking alone, it's not happening. So I would love to answer all questions, and I'm open to it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. As you said, mindful eating is the right thing which all of us need to, practice in our daily life. Right. Yeah, I have a question for Sahitya. Sahitya, a question to you. What are few technologies should a services-oriented new startup be aware of or master? You are muted, Sahitya.
Yeah. So service oriented, specific to any industry, or just a technology service oriented company?
No, it is just service-oriented new startup. Be aware of.
Or maybe we'll take it like if they're wanting to start a technology service oriented company.
Yes, yeah, basically.
Okay. If that is the case, now we cannot deploy in this era, at least we cannot deploy a solution which works in exclusivity. Like, okay, one technology is going to serve the purpose. It's not like that. They should have a bigger understanding of the bigger picture of the technologies, at least, like, okay, what goes into this, what goes into that. For the future and for the current scenario, we see that artificial intelligence and machine learning are going to impact the industries and the digital transformation process in a big way. So if they are starting now, maybe they can start with this at least.
Okay.
They can start the journey by keeping an eye on these technologies, artificial intelligence and machine learning. Yeah.
Okay. That was a very specific question which was asked to you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
I think.
I see that.
Okay, one more question is asked. It is something generally, any one of you can take it up. How to overcome initial investment crunches for someone that has idea, but no network or any personal financial aid available?
Mm-hmm. Okay. If I can take up this question.
Yeah, yes, please.
Okay. Initially, when we started, we had to, because we worked earlier and we accumulated certain amount, and then we started investing. When we started with a computer at home, sitting at home, and started selling our services. We invested our time and our knowledge. And for literally, I think 1 year, we worked from home. We got the clients, we delivered the products, we accumulated certain amount. And then when we had to hire a third person into our team, we had to set up an office away from the home.
Mm-hmm.
That time we invested the amount which we have already accumulated by selling our services and deploying our solutions to the clients. We took a rented office space. And then we learned what goes into setting up an office. And from there we scaled, moving into our own premises later, gradually. So for someone who is, if they want directly an investment, if they want to invest in their idea or something, if their startup is something like that, there are many platforms out there which are helping entrepreneurs who are coming up with an innovative idea. So apply for that. Apply for each and every platform that is trying to help the entrepreneurs. You will find the right place you will finally land into one good place. But you should be very confident that your exit strategy, if you are trying to get investors fund your ideas, then you should have an idea when you will get a breakthrough, when you will try to get money from the from your product. Get ready with the prototype, take it to the market, sell it, apply to the platforms. There are platforms that will fund your ideas.
Okay. What are the, like, for student idea, for to raise funds for the student ideas, can you suggest any of the platforms, where they can go and pitch in and then raise, fund?
Student.
Ma'am, can I
Yes,
take-
sure, ma'am, please. Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am, actually, yeah, what you're talking about, the investment, which plays a very major role in entrepreneur journey.
Yeah.
So what I have in my journey, what I have thought is, it stands a second, and first is the passion to drive in. So, and now because of the COVID, whatever the situation, what we are handling, and government is really putting forward, the budding entrepreneurs and the startups, the new innovations. And I think in this journey, in COVID, we have seen various innovations in COVID itself. Maybe
True.
it is in the medicine or the and I think the India has come to a one team, and we are fighting for it. So we have various platform. MSMEs are there. MSME platform is there. Like a platform like CMSME is there. Wherein all the team, all the entrepreneurs are joining their hands together, and we are coming forward. And there are many segments. They're very sector wise. Even the schemes are there. Subsidies are there. It is only the right approach, And what I feel, the entrepreneur should be confident enough of their products and to deliver things. It is only the individual confidence what speaks loudly. So the investments, what is, yes, I do understand when we started business the same thing happened, but we used to go and knock each and every bank's door, and even the goals were kept. We had to keep all the papers. That is a journey. And what I tell is, you should enjoy the journey. As all the speakers, what we are there on the platform, we should really enjoy. It is not a failure. It is the next stepping stone for you, and you have learned with the mistakes what you have done, and please don't repeat it. So as the funding is there now, there are various platforms, and MSME is really coming forward for especially women entrepreneurs. It is only the market survey, the product what you are taking into the market, and how you are dealing, how you are marketing. Like, you can see even online what she's talking. I'm so impressed with her, and the food, healthy food, and roti kapda makan is nowhere in the scene. Actually, it is all, new ideas. So what I feel, you can just approach many of the communities, many of the organizations, and it is really open, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I would like to add here that
Yes, ma'am.
the Prime Minister's portal is open, and they answer your query. Or if you were looking for funds, they do it within 24 hours. It is there. I have tried. And they support you by telling you how to go about it. She has already answered that MSME answer what I wanted to say. MSME, we are here to help them out, but also the PM's portal is actually very effective. I don't know why people don't say the government doesn't take support you and all, but the PM portal does work. You can go onto it, click onto it. There are so many things you can learn from it. And yes, you can approach any bank through the portal and they give you the loan very soon, very soon.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. I think we will, explore that area also in the future in order to guide and help our students in raising the fund for their ventures. We'll do that. Sahitya, that one Narayan, she wanted to find out the technology knowledge for an environmental services startup.
And that's what I'm trying to understand, the environmental services startup. So nowadays, any normal device, give me any device, we can convert it to a smart device. Any physical device, if you give to us, we can convert it to a smart device and connect it to a network and get the data from it, monitor how is it performing and all. So if that is the startup, because I don't know about the idea, so now I'm telling based on the environment, the word environment, they should try to first explore IoT, Internet of Things, and then link it to artificial intelligence and machine learning. Going further, AI and ML will come into place. First, because it is environment related, they need to make it a smart environment and then collect the data from it. So they must explore Internet of Things.
Okay, thank you, Sahitya. I think we have, asked all the questions were answered. Yeah. Yes.
And regarding that funding, I can add one point which actually helped us. Networking. The most important word for an entrepreneur is networking.
Okay.
When you walk in somewhere, don't expect you will get out of it immediately anything. Just walk in and explore and network with people. Get connections. You can only connect the dots back. You will know in future why you met some person at some place. Networking is the key for business.
Thank you, Sagitya. Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your ideas and your knowledge with us on this day. Thank you so much. Now I would like to propose a formal vote of thanks. A very good evening to all and distinguished delegates and participants. I feel honored and privileged to get an opportunity to propose a vote of thanks on this historic occasion. This is the first time we celebrated World Entrepreneurs Day in our college, and hence it has become an historic occasion for us. On behalf of Mount Carmel College and CIMSME, and on my own behalf, convey deep regards and hearty thanks to our chief guest, Ms. Nabomita Majumdar. I take this opportunity to thank her for gracing today's celebration and sharing her thought with us. Thank you so much, ma'am. It is indeed a matter of immense gratification and honor to have had 5 accomplished women entrepreneurs as speakers, sharing their experience and learning on this day of celebration. A big thank you to Ms. Sangeeta, Sahitya, Aparna, Darshana, and Rahat Khan, ma'am. It was indeed a great pleasure listening to you all. I wish to convey my heartfelt thanks to Mr. Santosh, Director, CIMSME, and Mr. Biju Balagopal, National Convener, for getting all the resource people within a very, very short span of time and making all arrangements for the program and made it a success. I also wish to express my sincere thanks to our beloved principal, Dr. Sister Arpana, for her constant support and encouragement for any kind of academic and student activities in our campus. I thank our beloved Vice Principal, Dr. Shauman Jerome, for her constant support, and academic deans, both undergraduate and postgraduate. I wish to convey my heartfelt thanks to Dr. Umavi, President, MCCIIE, and Postgraduate Dean of Science, for her constant support and encouragement to do anything related to innovation, incubation, and entrepreneurship in the campus. Thank you so much, ma'am. My sincere thanks to my team, MCCIIE. I convey my thanks to all faculties and student participants who joined us from MCC and from other colleges, organizations, and institutions to attend this webinar. Once again, I thank you very much to all those who participated in webinar and benefited out of this. Thank you, one and all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All the best for all your students.
Thank you all. We will be
Thank you so
needing
much.
all your support in helping us. We have just started our incubation now. We need all your, support in helping, in guiding, and mentoring our students. I will
Surely,
definitely
ma'am.
come back to you.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Surely,
Thank
ma'am. Anytime. Thank you so much.
you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
you,
you, Dr.
Biju sir.
Shanti, for the great moderation, and thank you all the participants.
Thank you
All
so
the
much.
panelists did a great job. Thank you, everyone, and a very happy entrepreneurship, World Entrepreneurship Day to all of you.
Thank you, Biju.
Thank
You're
you, sir.
on
Thank
screen.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye, sir.
Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you. Bye, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.